So you know that you and I both have these precision garage door silent package, the Tom and Dan silent package.
Yeah.
But my neighbor's garage door is, there's no other way to say it, loud as hell.
Yeah.
And so when I hear it go up, it's as if it's my old garage door.
Yeah,
so I have this weird, like, screwed up PTSD of post-traumatic stress door disorder of, like, me thinking that my wife is home when she's not.
Yeah.
Even my daughter can hear it. Yesterday, we're dancing around in the kitchen, like, acting funny, and we hear the garage door, and Maisie's like, Mommy's home. And I'm like, oh, she's home. I look out the window. No, it's not even us. It's the neighbor's garage door is so freaking loud that I can hear it in my townhome. You don't hear that when you get the Tom and Dan silent package and when you use the wonderful people at Precision Door Service of Central Florida, including our good friend who's on the show today, Mr. Big Tim.
Yep, you can call him directly, 407-710-BDMS. That's 710-2367.
Goes directly to him.
Yeah.
My wife's dad, they got a full door with the silent package, brand new motor. Tony Rage has it. You have it. I have it. Seth Petrozelli has it.
Yeah.
Multiple BDMs and listeners have gone to Precision Garage Door. It's just, there's no other way to do it.
You know what's also great is now during the holiday season, if you need to sneak out your garage door for whatever reason, it won't wake up your family in the middle of the night.
When Santa Claus is coming. Or if you want to go spark a jet.
Yeah, and so you could open the garage door and no one will hear it from inside the house. Like, it is really cool. Plus, it's Wi-Fi compatible, so you could check to see if it's open if you leave your house.
Well, that's the only bad thing is my wife does see when I come and go because it's linked to our internet, and it tells her when people are entering or not entering the home.
Yeah.
Here's another thing that's awesome. It improves the curb appeal of your home. My garage door sounded like crap. When it went up, it was unbalanced, and apparently that's a really big deal. And don't even think about replacing that spring on your own. You'll kill yourself. It's very, very dangerous. These guys have been in the business for so long. It ups the quality and the price of your home by putting in quality products.
They're all pros. They come to your house, precision door vans. It's not like they send some 1099
It's not a subcontractor. No. These are all their employees.
And here's some specials. If you want a brand new garage door, the whole thing.
This is what Andrea's dad did.
Yeah, you get 5% off by mentioning Tom and Dan. Also, they got a new special, $75 off Wi-Fi motors. So that's part of like our silent package motor for all T&D listeners till the end of the year. So just to let them know you're a Tom and Dan listener, and you can get $75 off that Wi-Fi silent package motor that we got.
And it doesn't just go up and down with a button. You can do there's a lot of features you can do in there. You can see a record, a log of who's been in, who's been out. I can turn on, here's a feature I like to use, I can turn on the light.
Yeah, from anywhere.
From anywhere.
From your phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm going downstairs I have a fridge in there, I need to go downstairs and get some bubbly or something that's in the fridge. I hit the button before I get down there. That way I'm not walking into darkness, because I'm a little baby.
Just give him a call. Again, 407-710-BDMS. That goes straight to Big Tim. He'll take care of you. It's Precision Door of Central Florida.
In the boy, the larynx and the vocal cords change so that his voice acquires the deeper pitch of a man's voice. The shoulders become broader, thighs grow longer, and the muscles become stronger. Hair begins to grow on the face, under the arms, and in the pubic area.
You are a man. And in taking on the role of the world's second greatest gender, you must adhere to A Gentleman's Guide to Manliness.
It is another A Gentleman's Guide. Dan Dennis.
Tom Van.
Steve Kramer.
Let's talk Billabong jackets.
Billabong jackets.
Did you have a Billabong jacket, Tom?
No. I only grew up maybe a couple hoodies. I never had jackets.
So you never had like a coat?
No.
Well,
I grew up in Miami. I never got cold.
The traditional Billabong jacket.
It was very light.
It was very light because it was just like the whole thing was sort of patchworked.
Yeah.
And, patchworked meaning the sleeves were one color, the actual body of the jacket was one color, the pockets were one color.
Yeah.
And it was all a thin piece of corduroy material. Mm-hmm. And so I went out looking for a Billabong jacket, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I'd gone.
There's a lot of iterations, in fairness. I'm looking on eBay right now for vintage Billabong jackets.
Yeah.
And there's more than I remember.
Oh, if you find one pristine, I found one on eBay that the guy said had never been worn, still had tags on it. It was back from early 90s, and the guy wanted $500 for it. And it was insane.
I wanted one, but at the time I was in middle school, and my parents were not going to spring for that, so I did not get one. I got the Kmart brand probably instead, because
Well,
or Ross.
it's not like it was ever like high dollar material.
It was high more, but that it gives you insight into what my parents were willing to spend.
No, but but it was expensive. I want to say it was between like $65 and $85 for the jacket, right? But you're dealing with like some of the lamest. I mean, corduroy is not an expensive fabric.
No.
It's almost like a working man fabric, but that's all I wanted, man. I wanted one so bad. So I bought one. Hey, Butler, can you bring me my new Billabong?
It's new?
It's like a couple years old, but it's not a Billabong jacket.
I love the way jackets look, coats look.
Here's my new Billabong jacket.
Nice.
See, here, check that out.
Oh, yeah.
It's just an all-purpose, canvasy,
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, I wanted the corduroy,
camo.
but they gave me the camo because that's all they make now.
I love coats. I love the way coats look.
Cool jacket.
Barber
Just a bum
jackets.
jacket.
It's kind of a bum jacket. Yeah, it's kind
pea coats, everything. But it's so tough because it just doesn't get that cold here.
Yeah.
Even in Gainesville, it's a lot colder than here. It's about 10 degrees colder during the winter months, fall and winter months in Gainesville than it is here.
Yeah.
Even then, I needed jackets. Or when I lived in New Orleans, it's cold in New Orleans. It gets pretty cold there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you had to wrap your pipes with tape so they wouldn't explode from the freezing.
Now, the opposite end of the Billabong jacket, I think Tracy in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, if you want to watch all of our shows, she mentioned the old starter jacket. Did you have a starter jacket? Well, you weren't a sportsman. You were like a punk rock skate money.
And again, in Miami, no need for jackets.
Yeah, no need. But the starter jacket...
That wouldn't have been my scene.
But it was like, and that's something, and, Steven had mentioned maybe talking about men's style, but that was considered what? A sports-styled windbreaker? Is that what that is?
Yes.
The starter jacket, you're only
wearing
wearing
those satin jackets, too.
Yeah, I always wanted a satin jacket, but I was too much of a slob to pull one of those off because, I get chili on it or beefaroni or something crappy on it.
Yeah.
And like a satin jacket, the shiny satin jackets are nice.
What do you mean, like a satin?
Like this.
Like shiny.
Like
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like varsity style jacket, but shiny satin.
That's a 90s or
people wear them now. Oh
okay.
yeah. I mean, more.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
they're more like
flashy. It's flashy.
Athletic.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, it is more athletic, but it's flashy. Like you see a lot of ladies wearing like a shiny pink or shiny white.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to see too many guys.
The pink ladies had those jackets. They were satin jackets.
Yeah, the pink ladies did have those
in Greece.
Yeah, I always wanted
Greece
all of those type of jackets, but never had one. And what is the quintessential in Florida when we have these tiny little bits of winter? In your opinion, Steve, what is the number one thing you need?
Well, it depends if you dress or casual, so it's a different tool for the job. If you dress, it's a thin, light pea coat maybe, or overcoat. But
you said Tom hates pea coats.
Pea coats could be very,
he has a
very
story.
stylish.
Didn't your wife buy you a pea coat?
Yeah, I remember the pea coat story. I think we even talked about it.
No.
I never wore it.
You look like a fat, old fat.
You've got to get him. Listen, like anything, like anything, they can be cut the wrong way. You want to get one that's cut right that makes you look, thin and is flattering. It can go badly.
When I wear a lot of things, just based on my personality, I guess if you didn't know me, I could pull it off. But if you know me, then you're like, "What are you doing, bro?"
I mean,
take that goddamn thing off. That's what I feel. Everybody's thinking. I'm thinking.
For more casual, I mean, a bomber never goes out of style. In fact, at least once out of every 4 years, if you read one of those GQ or Esquire style issues, it is there is a bomber is the thing of the season. But even when it's not the thing of the moment, it's always a classic, reliable, and you can get them pretty thin. You don't have to get a heavy bomber jacket. A lot of times it's leather. Sometimes they have the fur or faux fur on it, whatever. Or motorcycle jackets, always a classic. Those can get pretty light. They're all weather type of jackets that you can wear even in Florida.
I couldn't pull off
coat
the
is really good.
The bomber was the other jacket in my life that a few years after the old Billabong debacle, we had the brown leather bomber jacket.
Oh yeah,
almost like a Indiana Jones style.
Yeah.
Jacket. It was the jacket. Everybody knew this jacket. Okay, brown leather on the outside, elastic cuffs, elastic waist, And then it had some fur on the top. And then here's the quintessential way you knew it was a bomber jacket. Inside, the lining on the inside was like a silk or satin, and it was a map.
No,
So,
Remember that? It was
I
a
do.
goddamn map.
That's a very 90s bomber jacket.
Yeah,
so this is a
could buy 'em at
Barber.
Costco.
This is a Barber jacket. It's a very, very classic jacket. It's what Steve McQueen made this jacket famous.
That's a cool jacket.
It's a great jacket, and it's the type of jacket you can wear in a lightweight environment too. Or they make a heavier version of this, but it's a manly jacket for sure.
Yeah, it looks like something you could be like. It almost looks like you're an engineer of some sort.
Or you could be like a spy. I mean,
Yeah.
you could be doing the Great Escape. You could be doing whatever. It's that type of jacket that has all kinds of uses. I think that's actually also a motorcycle jacket.
Now, are there places that I can go? Like if I
Denim
want,
jacket's always classic.
I do. See, I was going to say the denim jacket's really nice. Are there places that I can go though that are like luxury thrift stores where I can find certain items like that particular style jacket in an upscale version used? Do they,
So the internet.
This one is from.
I guess, yeah.
This one's actually from Barber. I mean, they've been doing it for 125 years, so they sell it. And then there's, of course, takeoffs on it.
Travis buys a lot of these. Like what? Travis, what did you just buy? The vest, the cool vest. Here, I'll throw you on Blue Mike real quick. Tell Steve about, he bought this vest that's dope.
Well, yeah, that was actually part of my wife's Christmas present. I bought her a new Barber jacket.
See, and they've got there's a British, I think more Brits know about Barber than Americans.
Yeah, you get the waxed cotton.
That's right.
Yeah, super expensive. They're beautiful. They'll
are.
last you like decades.
That's why you buy it, is because it's classic and you can wear it for your entire life.
If
you give
I-
it to your kids.
If I ever say dope vest, bro, I'm bullying you. So just
you
know
said that the other day, man.
If I ever compliment your vest, I am bullying you 100%.
There was like that hot moment in the mid 90s when vests were the jam. When
Yeah.
the sweater vests were the jam.
Yeah, I wore a lot of them. Yeah,
everybody did.
And
Everybody
I still
was
have
cool.
I never wore a stinking old vest because I'm not a nerd.
them. Wow, my God.
I'm just saying.
Aggressive flex, man. Wow.
I'm just saying. If you,
Well, I mean, I know, Daniel, you were pretty popular in high school.
Yeah,
I was too. So.
I wore...
not middle school, but high
even
school.
the marching band. I wasn't popular. Nobody was popular.
I was very popular.
No.
I was.
Me too.
Yeah.
No
high
one in the
school.
marching band is popular.
I was in the drum line. That transcends the nerddom of the marching band.
I liked high school so much that I wanted to stay more. Ended.
Oh, that doesn't make you popular.
I love school so much I never want to leave. Oh, you're popular, bro.
I love my mommy's teeth so much. I
no,
never wanted to unsuckle them.
That's what every popular
No,
kid says. I never want to leave.
I had a game.
school.
No, I had a game. I mean, I did. First period was I had AP English. Second period was.
Oh, you're in AP classes and popular?
Yeah. First period. Was,
Andrea was.
Yeah, that's right.
Andrea was in like the hottest girl social club, but also was in IB and was like a
That's
really
right.
good student.
Yeah, at
If you
second
were in a
period.
social club, not popular.
Second period, we did.
No, all
Second-
the party girls that the hot girls that
Yep.
you wanted to bang.
See, you
she
didn't
was
know
in-
because you weren't a part of this.
She was in that club,
Second
and then
period,
she also was the nerd.
Second period, I was news anchor. So we did the news, and it was a bunch of
Anybody
cut-ups.
in the news, not popular.
No, it was a bunch of cut-ups. In fact, we ruined it for every other generation that did the news because we did so many pranks and jokes on the news that it became it drew oversight. Then third period is weightlifting into newspaper, where we basically roamed the school, had 2 lunches. Fourth period was another AP class. Fifth period was video production.
I'm trying to help you, but nothing. I'm trying to help you, but
listen,
you said one thing that-
you're proving my case.
You said something that made it hard. When
I'm
you
in
were
the
like,
newspaper.
Nah, Tom, we were a bunch of cut-ups. I'm like,
We're an AP newspaper. All right, there it is.
It was gaming the
We're in
system.
the hottest social clubs
The reason
in
was
high school.
If
No.
you were a newspaper, you had a class. You had a pass to roam the school.
You did.
And what you could do is we would do newspaper
lot
for
of-
like 10 minutes.
Take a lot of photos of girls holding chain link
right.
fences.
And then immediately you'd have your quick meeting, and then everybody would go scatter to the ends of the school, and we would go to lunch. So we would do 2 lunches a day.
Got to get a scoop. There's a leak in one of the portables on the side of the school. We can't even.
And we had the same thing in video production. You could roam the school.
Now, I don't know much about high school. Obviously, I was not popular. I did not know, any popular kids or whatever. Wasn't the cool kid. But I do know that all the cool kids were never trustworthy enough for the school to give them any sort of pass to roam free. They were untrustworthy because they were so cool.
I can bust that myth, though.
Yeah.
The coolest kid that all the teachers loved him because he was a super charmer. I can't say his name because I still know him. He still lives in DeLand. But and for people listening to this, he was super cool with the teachers, but he was also super cool with the kids, and he ended up pulling off one of the biggest pranks in school history by stealing every computer in the school. And then eventually getting arrested for it.
And our school was kind of a little...
And they had given him a pass to do all of that.
And our school was a little different, too. Like, it was... I don't know why, but there was a big kind of alternative progressive crowd or whatever at our school, and that wasn't like every school that out there, and that it made it a little bit different, I guess, if that makes sense. So maybe that was part of it, but I didn't do sports, but I did weightlifting and was really athletic. So I I had a lot of friends that did that, and we had respect because I worked out with those guys, but I didn't do those sports.
I guess I don't even know how you'd even gauge if you are the most popular kid in school. I'm only going off stereotype like
like my 2 best friends were in homecoming court. I mean, they're still my best friends.
Like any of the cool kids weren't involved, at least in my mind, with anything in school.
Well, we figured something out here because there's 2 levels of cool. There's the we hate school, we're not going to be a part of it cool.
Yeah,
and then
that's what
and then there's cool within the school where you're school cool, and like if you're on homecoming court, you may be the most popular girl and the most popular guy, but in that world you're cool, but on the opposite end you've got like the more like anti-establishment.
But that's what was weird about it. Is
anybody involved? If you're involved,
it was like
not cool. That in my mind,
I got
when I was growing up.
But that's the irony is that you had a bunch of kids that were cynical and were kind of anti that at the same time kind of consciously took over these activities.
Yeah.
So like I said, my 2 best friends. In fact, one of them I went to lunch with him yesterday. He's still my best friend. They were in homecoming court, but they were anti that quote popular crowd. It doesn't matter anyway. I mean, for me, it was a thing because I was so nerdy in middle school that I really, when I got there, I was like, this is amazing. I was, I did it. Girls like me. I have friends. I'm popular. It was meaningful to me in that moment, mainly because of my experience being dorky for so long, being so nerdy in middle school. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. I mean, who really cares what you were in high school? I mean, we're all...
someone does. They're arguing a lot about it. I'm joking. I'm just bullying you. Again, not cool breast or cool
breast, bro. Why were you juggling my T's when you said that?
Anyway, in my mind, back in high school, even if you raised your hand in class, not cool. Like anything. If you
participated, you're out.
Yeah. Like the coolest people weren't even there. Like they dropped out already a long time ago. Stupid. Dumb.
I skipped my entire sophomore year. I mean, so I don't know.
Let's move on.
So when I got
this is obviously a hot topic.
I think when you put it like that, I was not cool.
Yeah, well, but I maybe have a different definition of what the cool kids in high school were. So,
I think we all have that image as what the popular crowd is. I was more like the everyman kind of man that could go between different groups and have friends in a lot of different groups.
Well, you were talking. We're taping a bunch,
and
today.
None of that matters anyway now. Yeah. I mean, really.
To me, in high school, the cool kid was the guy that dropped out in 10th grade. He was now the drug dealer of the school and dealt weed out of his. He's a loser.
And that guy, but he had a big screen TV.
because he had a bunch of money, and he was eventually going to go to jail. 100% a loser. But in my mind, that was the cool kid that. Not the kid that was the homecoming king or whatever, Anyway, so
what was your question?
I don't know.
Did you? Well, Steven, during the break, you're feeling rough today, aren't you, buddy?
I'm all bad.
Yeah. During the break, Steve, you were talking a little bit about like body shaming homework. What is that?
Yeah.
What was that about?
So I saw this article. I thought it was super interesting. they had this school assignment where kids were supposed to like. There was a word above, and then below they'd have like, you know, 2 different pictures, and you had to circle the one that applies, right? So it'd be like a desk, and then the word desk would appear, and then below it you've got a desk and a chair, and you're supposed to circle the desk, right? You've got a car, and they've got a bike and a car, and you circle the car, right?
Okay.
So this news report I saw was from a Kentucky school district that was reviewing first grade curriculum for body shaming. And the example that was a big deal was this picture here, where they've got a thin person and a heavier person, and above it says fat. And so you had to circle fat. And
they should have used like pictures of a male's genitalia instead. You giggled at that.
So
preposterous.
They're saying this is now the word "fat" is now it
was the use of that word,
right?
I'm doing air quotes. The use of that word was the objection. So
you didn't have to use a person for the picture, right? You could have used like
a cat or a dog,
or a stack of money.
Yeah,
but there is listen. I'm going to sound very Trumpy here.
No, I think I'm probably going to agree with you.
Trumpy or not Trumpy.
I know, but that's everything is categorized. You're the one side or the other now. And so if you say anything that one side, like I don't even know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So anyway, but there is a skinny person and a fat person. That is now. If you say
the issue is when you shame somebody, it tears somebody down for being fat.
But you're not.
Otherwise, it's just a word that has a definition.
Yeah, and also this is not a picture of a real person here. This is a
cartoon drawing,
a drawing of a cartoon. So people are up in arms over.
So one of the pictures is like a little girl who is chubbier, or chubby, right?
Yeah.
Like a full-figured chubby girl, and then the other is it another girl?
Yes,
like a skinny girl.
Yes.
Are both? They're just adjectives, right? I mean, they're only negative if you apply, like, you know.
To a person.
That's right.
I mean, it's just an adjective, you know, like.
Also,
30 pounds ago, if somebody said, you know, you have a fat belly.
The objection was to use of that word. So, I wonder though if you. I don't know what word you substitute, and if you substitute a word for that, then that word will now take on the negative connotation, arguably.
Here's the problem. The people that are arguing this, they need to focus on the actual problem, not this dumb first grade homework.
You're wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, because the actual problem is inappropriate shaming. Which we
intention. I think Tactical Hat said it in the Twitch chat room. It's the intention of, if you called somebody fat and you are intending to hurt their feelings, then of course that's a horrible thing to say.
Yeah, but
there are people that I know, like Juan or somebody in the chat room, but they call themselves that. You know, Big Tim Murphy, for instance, on Facebook last night, he was talking to somebody and he's like, "Well, it's no secret, I'm fat, baby." You know, like, and it wasn't. And when I read that, he wasn't saying that to hurt his own feelings or hurt other people that might be heavier. Like, people call me short all the time. I don't really take offense to it because, unfortunately, or fortunately, or I don't give a damn, I'm 5'2". I am considered a short man. I'm a short man.
Going back to the intention.
You are what you are. I mean, my family, I come from a family of fat people. I mean, they struggle with their weight for years.
It's narcissistic to me to then look at something and be like, "Oh, okay, there's a picture of a cartoon that's bigger, and then a picture of a skinny girl on a cartoon, and they're saying fat." And then if by looking at that, saying, "Oh, you're attacking me personally," that's absurd because who knows? I mean, that drawing could have been 30 years ago.
To me, it's just a word. You're just teaching the definition of a word. The definition is correct. Where it would have been an issue to me if they had the word ugly, and they had fat person and a skinny person, you're supposed to circle the fat person. That would be a problem.
Of course, because now, but it's why is everybody looking at something and not intended for themselves and then putting it on themselves and be like, you're attacking me personally. That seems narcissistic to me, right?
But we don't know if this is a heavier person that is making an uproar. This could just be somebody that's, taking a kind of paternalistic tone, right? They're looking out for the other people.
Yeah, and that's most of what social justice warriors are doing. They're usually not even a part of the the group that they're trying to protect or whatever, or trying to say like, oh, you shouldn't do this. Like they're a lot of times not even a part of that group.
Nope.
But what is the intent? Like Tactical Hat is talking about. The intent of the homework was just hey, there's a fat cartoon, a skinny cartoon, fat cartoon, and then the people saying, oh, this is shaming people because they're going to look at that and say I'm fat, and this is a negative. I mean, like you said, it's not saying fat gross. Then you know what I'm saying? You're just saying fat or skinny.
Well, like Tracy in our Twitch chat room, and she says
there are fat and skinny people.
Well, I do this too.
That's a reality.
What she's talking about in our Twitch chat room, and I'll explain, is something that I do as well with Maisie. And I've even corrected her on it before because, kids say things and they pick up things. But she says, I do not use the word fat around my son. To describe people, I don't either, because I don't want her to get in the habit of doing that.
I told them that hurts people's feelings if you say you're fat.
You just don't say that, Also, like, if you use the term like ugly to describe something, other terms that I don't use around her, I try not to, and I have to catch myself on this one. The word stupid or hate. Like if I go, that's stupid, I try not to say that. I say like that's silly or that's weird to me. I don't use I hate that. I'm trying to decrease the amount of severity of even the adjective. I try to use the applicable adjective for how I really feel. Not an exaggeratory version of it.
The interesting thing to your point is about that a lot of times the people that are most vocal about political correctness aren't even a part of the group they're trying to protect. Is that survey that came out last year. It's a detailed survey about the political landscape in America, the polarized landscape. But the most interesting part about that survey was that 80% of those surveyed were thought political correctness had gone too far, was too much. And the most interesting thing I thought was those in minority groups had the strongest feelings on that political correctness had gone too far, and that those most in favor of political correctness were typically white, college-educated individuals. So,
we've had plenty of comedians in here. Like, we've joked around, and they've said the white women are ruining comedy.
Got to watch out for the Karens.
It's good that we're checking ourselves as a society, but the pendulum did swing too far.
The survey was from More in Common, and the authors were Stephen Hawkins and David Yudkin, PhD. They did the research on it.
Some of the greatest minds. So Samantha's cracking me up, and she's right. There's a product that my family loves called Fat Boy ice cream sandwiches. Have you had a Fat Boy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're so good. There's a motorcycle called a Fat Boy. There's a bomb called, or was that Little Man and Fat Boy? What was it?
Fat Boy and
Little Man.
Yeah. I think
that used to be the name of our show. Now our show is called Muscles and Flabby Skinny.
There's a movie with the same name, by the way, about the Trinity experiments. John Cusack's in it about the development of that bomb.
Well, it's
those bombs.
There is this problem where, like, let's say Big Tim Murphy's in here. We're his friend. We're calling him fat. We're messing with him, whatever. And we have this relationship that it's been proven that we can joke around with each other like that. He can call me names. We all call each other names. Yeah. That's what we do. So, I call Daniel short or whatever. He calls me a bumbling idiot or whatever.
Whatever.
Rosacea face. We're calling each other that, and then people, and this happens in all media, are sitting home and then saying, well, if you're calling him that, you're attacking me because I'm similar to that or whatever, and then
pretty selfish.
So then that's the narcissism that comes in. I'm like, we're not talking about you, but people get offended as if we were, and everybody in society is getting offended. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people are getting offended by people calling other people things, and then them putting that energy or whatever onto themselves and being like, well, if you're saying this to this person, then you might as well be attacking me, and that's a weird psychological thing that causes a lot more uproar. It's same thing with this picture. Like, oh, you're circling this picture, you're saying fat, therefore you're calling my kid fat, or my kid is now having some sort of shame because they're bigger than the other kids or whatever. It's like,
and I'm not at all agreeing with people that feel that way, because I think how I feel, especially as a person that I enjoy free speech and what we do. I do think it's a bit of an oversight as an educator who's putting together a curriculum curriculum and putting together some lesson plans to know that you're giving something to these kids to learn from, and you're actually using children as the examples. I don't feel like I would have done that. I think Steven kind of nailed it with the whole like cat or dog
That probably would have been a better approach.
Or cow. The first thing that came to mind was cow. Like
but I don't have a problem with
cow.
the word fat. I mean, it probably would have been a better curriculum choice to use.
Well, I'm just saying it's an oversight,
because
right?
Yeah, I mean, fat cats are a thing, right?
Right.
I mean, I love my fat cat.
It just seems to me too easy to be like, well, I'm teaching children. Let's use a fat kid and a skinny kid. I don't think that thought would have ever crossed my mind if I were putting together this particular curriculum. But did they pull it? Is that what happened, or is there?
I think they're reviewing it.
So they're still arguing about it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, it's that type of story though that's just fodder for commentary and opinions. I mean, I think we do need, whatever you feel about it, anything else, we do need a little more civility in our world.
Of course, it's the type of story that is polarizing. It gets then you get everybody, like the harsh people. They'll come in too strong and be like, "Well, fat, you shouldn't be fat. It's unhealthy, whatever." And then you get the other people.
I think it would also polarizing. It'd also be wouldn't it be easier to do exactly what we're doing and kind of talk about it and then be like, "Yeah, I could see where we might want to change that. It might be easier to change that, but no harm was done here, and we're going to move on."
Yeah. Like, and honestly, it must be difficult. Like if you have a child that has, is overweight, right? And then they're self-conscious about being overweight, and
it's got to be heartbreaking.
And then you're dealing with maybe they got a thyroid problem, maybe they're just hungry all the time, and then they put on more weight. Maybe it's their genetics.
Maybe
you're heavy
people's
genetics.
Heavy.
What was most interesting about it? So the affiliate that reported on this was WKYT. That the opinion of the parent, I guess, who was upset was that even if a skinny girl was the example for the word skinny, she said, I feel like that would be body shame that person because somebody doesn't want to be called that. So it wasn't only about fat; it was about whether it was fat or skinny. Which
the problem is, shame is subjective.
One of them is a word. It's how you use that word and approach it, and how you treat those people. Right? Isn't that the bigger issue?
If you called my wife skinny, she'll never ever take that as even if she was like. I mean, it's a weird thing. Like she'll be like, please, I can never be too skinny. Like in her mind, like even at the time when I knew her was 16, you could see her spine and stuff. I'm like,
I gotta tell
now.
you, when I drop a few pounds and like I come in and you guys say, man, you look like you lost some weight. I like it.
But
I can understand people that are have an issue with putting on weight, though, being upset about it.
If you're daddy long neck and people are like, hey, you're weird looking skinny, I'm sure they dealt with it his whole life. And there's people that have medical problems. I mean, it's the spectrum. And like I'm saying, shame is subjective. I mean, people get their feelings hurt over the most minute things, but I feel like that's what we prey on as a society to make stories out of so that it can cause an uproar. Yeah. I feel like most people are somewhat logical.
Here's what another thing we don't factor in is, and I think this is the main problem, is that I believe that we are addicted to uproar. I think we love it.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I think we
if you make an uproar, you get attention.
We stoke uproar all the time. Media stokes uproar. Social media.
Because it's headline grabbing.
Yeah. And also,
hence the article about this. Yeah.
Social media is literally designed so that you say more of a controversial thing so that you get more comments, because that's what causes more comments. And it's been like that
Well,
for
and
years
as the
now.
quality of news media has declined, as their budgets have gone down, they've had to go from hardcore, well-researched journalism to clickbait.
But even a regular person making a social media post...
So it's easy to find the fringes and focus on them, when that's the reality. The fringes are very few people.
You start going on your Facebook and you're like, hey, hope everybody has a good day. Here's what my breakfast looks like, all this stuff. And you got a couple likes, blah, blah. Then you go up there and you're like, you post this picture and you're like, how dare my kid come home with this homework and it says fat. And then a bunch of comments. You're like,
these are way better.
This is more interactive. And then you start getting trained to lean one way more extreme and then make more extreme posts, make more controversial posts, because that's what causes more comments. And then it's like, it's a reward
Then you
system.
become a troll.
Lord.
Wait a minute, you can't call me a troll. That's not nice. That is not nice. We have to take a break. We'll take a break and come back with more A Gentleman's Guide right after this. A mediocre time, a corporate time with Tom and Dan, BDM members, all of our guys know there's one thing that we strive to let you guys know about anybody that advertises with our company is if you let them know that you listen, you're a member, that you're involved with us, they're going to treat you better, point blank, period.
Exactly, and that's what everybody wants, that VIP experience, that extra little attention that you get when they know, our advertisers know that you're a Tom and Dan
listener. It takes the awkwardness away, and you get right to business, and normally with really wonderful people.
And that's what you'll get at Blanchard Insurance. It's BlanchardInsurance.com, 407-788-8640. They got offices in Altamont Springs, Daytona, Land O'Lakes, St. Pete. They're getting more. They're going to give you that VIP experience. First, they're going to give you the best rate. And how many of you guys know your insurance agent? How many of you guys know that the policy that you bought for your house, your vehicles, your boat, whatever, covers everything you need it to cover? Blanchard Insurance is going to make sure that all the policies you get through them are going to fit your needs and fit your needs specifically, and you're going to have an agent there that you can call personally at any time 24/7. So that's why you use Blanchard Insurance. That's why Tom and Dan, T&D Media, is going to use Blanchard Insurance from now on.
That's what we say. Like, you guys are part of our family, and we're happy to bring Blanchard into the family, and now they're going to treat you like family.
BlanchardInsurance.com.
We're back with A Gentleman's Guide to Manliness. Steve Kramer.
Tom Van.
Dan Dennis. Where do you guys, if you're at dinner and somebody near you is being extremely, extremely rude, I think I already know Tom's answer because we spend so much time together, but you're probably not going to say anything, right?
No.
I was in a scenario.
Rude in which way? Like just yelling?
Every way.
Rude was he saying inappropriate things to you or your family?
I'll take you through the process.
Yes, please.
I went to a popular sushi restaurant. So we can decide. I sat down. Me and my wife are having a date night. We're going to a holiday party, and we decided to get some sushi ahead of time. Tiny, tiny little sushi restaurant. My wife and I are eating, and then in walks this guy, and I guess his mom, I can assume. He's taking his mom out for sushi. And
maybe
they go,
dates older women.
And they go and they sit down. No, I'm pretty sure this was his mama. And so as they go in, he comes in. The first thing I noticed that's weird, we're sitting kind of tight, like it's sort of intimate. He goes and he puts his dog down, and it's like a little chihuahua, and he puts his dog down in the seat.
Brought his dog to the restaurant?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he put it in the seat, he's sitting, like you and I are sitting, Tom, across from each other.
Yeah.
And so he puts it in the seat next to his mom. And I'm thinking, man, and I'm nowhere near anti-dog. If I could take Caesar everywhere, I would take him.
I'm not anti-dog. I love dogs, but I don't necessarily want to eat dinner next to a dog.
Yeah, I just don't want it. I don't want it near my sushi.
How dare you? That's his emotional support animal, and he needs it.
Yeah, I don't agree. I'm not okay with that. I don't think
he needs it to live.
Unless that's truly the situation, that's a service dog for ADA.
If he didn't have his dog, he would die.
So he puts the dog...
Literally die.
He puts the dog down near his mom.
Horrible death.
And immediately, I look at the dog, and then I look at him, and he looks like sort of a tough guy, What
do you mean tough guy? Is he wearing a tracksuit?
No, he's just fully...
Does he have a gun? Can you see it under his clothes?
Muscles and fully tatted up like an MMA superstar is what he looked like.
Mm-hmm. But muscles like... ripped guy.
Yeah, like a big muscle guy.
Was he wearing a tank top, white beater?
No.
You could just see he is so muscular.
I'm going to have to stop you and power through, or we're never going to
I'm sorry, you're right.
All right, so the dog's down there on the chair, and then I look at the mom, and the mom makes eyes at me. Like, we look at each other as if, and then she can see the disappointment in my face. I know it because
it's a dog?
Yes, and I could see her facial expression kind of go to one of yeah, I'm sorry, it's not my... that's what it felt like. So then...
I can't control him, he's my son.
That's kind of how I felt. So then he starts playing,
help me.
Full blast on his iPhone, full, rap videos.
What?
Explicit rap videos, and he's just sitting there watching his iPhone, and it's like, and it's just loud, like everyone in the restaurant can hear it.
Oh yeah, douchebag.
And I'm looking at him, and then I'm looking at the dog, and then I look at the mom again, and I'm like, and I go, and I do. It was an involuntary reaction. I did that, but I went worse than that. I did an involuntary reaction that, for a split second, I thought, oh man, you're end up getting knocked out in a sushi restaurant. Because I looked at my wife, and I'm kind of looking around doing that thing, am I being punked?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Because that
Come
could
on,
happen. That could happen that you're being punked.
I did the come on, really? I did the really?
You say it out loud?
Yeah, I said it out loud. And of course, Andrea looks at me like, no.
Because why? Because she thinks it's inappropriate to interfere. Because she thinks the guy's going to kill you.
Probably because she thinks I'm going to cause a scene or get into a fight or something like that. So where do you guys stand on that? Because so the mom, again, she looks at me and then she kind of looks down and then kind of shakes her head a little bit. I kind of felt like this particular guy was friends of the restaurant, like the whole team that works there. And it kind of soured me as far as I was like, oh man, I was like, look, I get it. If he's your boy and wants to come in after hours with his dog and eat some rad sushi.
Is it after hours?
No, but I'm just saying if he wants to come in, if he's used to getting preferential treatment and that sort of thing, and that's kind of what it felt like. But are you supposed to say something? Because nobody other than me seemed to think it was a big deal, but to me, I was like, this is not.
He could be playing anything on loud on his phone, then that would be obnoxious. It doesn't. It could be rap. It could be. It could be PBS. But you just shouldn't play anything loud like that. It
didn't matter what he was playing.
Yeah,
it didn't matter.
No. But I mean, music is probably more invasive than a documentary. Let's just say. How about that? Music, any music.
It's for me. I always weigh out what will be the end result of this confrontation.
And I didn't think it was going to go well.
Well,
because I thought he'd get really mad. He just looked like the type of guy that would get really mad. So I was just like, well, I guess I just got to wait this one out.
Because the probability of him going, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even realize.
Zero.
Like he realized those type of guys they know 100% what they're doing.
Sometimes I think they're even doing it for the idea of maybe getting somebody to say something like a I dare you scenario.
I mean, I've known those people that have gone out looking for a fight.
Yeah, and that's what it kind of felt like. And then so the mom looks at me, I look at the mom, and I kind of do the shake my head thing. And then it was funny because you could see her kind of like, yeah, I know this is, I'm sorry. It was almost like, yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean, you got a few options. One is don't do anything. Two is be a gentleman and ask the individual, would you mind turning it down? It's just it's a little loud over here.
I didn't think that was going to go well. I thought about that.
I mean, you take the chance and you can ask. Or the third is you can do that and then ask you to have your table moved, or just skip all of that and ask to have your table moved, or you can leave.
Well,
I mean, that pretty much is some of what you could do.
The probability of him just punching you, he's not going to go to jail in the restaurant for assault and battery. Now, there is a high probability that he just tells you to F off if you tell him to.
That's what I thought would happen.
But and then
if
he
does.
Yeah, then you have to determine. Okay, now I've got.
Well, you have to leave it at that point.
Now I'm a little bitch because this guy told me.
No, you got to leave it at that point.
Frankly, here's what's not right.
You're in a tiny restaurant with your wife. You got to leave it.
I'm glad we're not mentioning the restaurant name, because what should happen is it's incumbent upon the restaurant to go ahead and help patrons avoid that situation, and they should have stepped up and intervened. They should have gone ahead and asked the gentleman to turn down the music and to handle himself differently, because that's what you expect when you go to a good restaurant, is that's part of what you rely upon, is that they make it a enjoyable experience for all the guests. It should never come down to your need to intervene.
No, it was they were familiar. So that's what played in.
And then that should be a discussion with the restaurant afterwards, like, hey, I know this might be the case. I love coming to your restaurant. I just want you to know,
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that, or maybe you don't go there. I don't know.
You can't just bring a dog in any restaurant, right? I mean, unless it has some BS emotional support vest on.
I mean, first off,
vest.
it's important to distinguish between service animal and emotional support animal. A service animal is an animal under the ADA that services people that have a diagnosed disability. An emotional support animal is anything.
You guys would have needed to be there because there was an explanation of this to the server, who was also our server, where he was like, oh, this is such a great dog. I could take him anywhere. He won't do nothing. I get it.
Was the dog the big deal or the noise?
Neither were It just wasn't like I'm paying I'm going to a place where I'm going to pay a little bit more than I normally would pay.
Yeah, you're going to a high-end restaurant for a high-end experience.
And so I don't want to sit next to a dog, and I don't want to listen to your phone. You see what I'm saying? It's not like either a really a big deal. I still had a great meal. I still had a fun time with my wife. I didn't escalate things. I didn't say a word. I observed it, I was really annoyed because I'm like, man, the consideration or lack thereof that this person has is almost shocking. It doesn't even seem, it didn't seem real.
I've gone to some high-end restaurants and had experiences like that, but I've enjoyed them for the people watching. Like, I went to every time I go to Burns, there's somebody interesting that gets sat in the room that we sit in.
Yeah.
And it's always entertaining to see. I've been to high-end restaurants, where they seat a table of porn stars next to us with a couple of producers, and they're talking about it loud. That's how you know what they're talking about. It's and other experiences like that. Sometimes I enjoy the people watching aspect of it, but you definitely have to be in the right mind state. I could understand you might be annoyed by it. I'd have to be there. It might be entertaining to see, because that's like is this really happening surreal moment that's almost entertaining.
Well, I started laughing, because I always do in weird situations like that, because I'm like looking at my wife, and I'm like, I'm looking at her, and I'm like looking around to see if, and everybody else is just far enough away.
You're right next to the guy, though.
Yeah, literally like sitting in his lap.
I could see you, depending on your mood, going either way with that. Like, if you were in a really perfect mood, I could see you almost being entertained. Like, is this really happening? Like, in a humorous way. Or no, would that never happen?
No, I there was a part of me that like enjoyed it, a weird part, because
you got a story.
Yeah, I
that is still like a little bit of a weird thing.
I was just kind of shocked that somebody would like literally have that much. Like, I don't know. I live my life when I'm out. I try to be as considerate as humanly possible to everybody else around me.
So the people watching, part of me wants to know, what was that interaction like? The guy's got his dog there. His mom's there. He's watching like videos on his full screen rap-wise. What's his mom doing? Like, are they talking?
She was uncomfortable. But
so
she's not going to say anything. And if she wasn't going to say anything, like, if I would have felt better if she'd have leaned over and said, "Come on, knock it off." Is
she just sitting there like frozen?
Yes.
Is she talking to herself? Is she looking at her phone?
Yeah, they're talking a little bit, but like,
they have to talk loud to get over the music
in between videos.
Her fault for raising a douchebag son too.
Maybe it's his girlfriend though, or his wife. It's feasible. How old was he?
Maybe a little younger than me.
How old was she?
Maybe 65, 60.
Like 60 looks like 60, or 60 looks
she
like
looked
50.
Great.
There you go.
No, I'm just saying, it looked like a mom and son scenario, and I'm like, hopefully I don't act like that when I go. I know I don't. I don't take a dog. I don't listen to videos loud.
Yeah. That's
I just thought
I'm envisioning the like older girlfriend from Breakfast at Tiffany's who says you have to. I'm sorry, I can't take him anywhere.
Should I have like pulled somebody aside and said like, "Hey, not for nothing, but not cool, y'all."
That's tough, because you want to go there again. It depends how good.
Well, they're not going to stop me from going there because I'm making their restaurant better, are they?
I don't know. It depends how you say it, doesn't it?
Well, I would say it just like that. I'd be like, "Hey, guys, come on, really? Is that a thing? We're going to do that?"
Well, you can't have an animal inside a restaurant without some sort of service certificate or whatever the hell.
Now, the thing about ADA is you can't even ask about a lot of that stuff. Like,
no, well, if you just bring a dog into
I've got a client.
It didn't even have a collar on it. It had nothing. It was like a nude dog.
I've got a client that manages a large grocery store, and he was
Winn-Dixie, Aldi.
Anyway, a prominent national brand, and he was telling me they don't ask.
Now
they don't even go down that road.
But because
frankly litigation.
I think I remember Andrea doing that when she worked at Old Navy. I think I remember her.
I've actually had to pull this memo and draft a memorandum of law for clients that needed to deal with this, because I represent people in retail settings, and they need to know, what do we do, or people that own buildings, what do we do for ADA and emotional support. So I've delved into this issue on a few occasions.
But the business has the right to tell a customer like, "Hey, there's no dogs allowed."
Generally, they would say, no dogs allowed except for service animals.
Yeah. So then if you don't have the service animal vest, then you could be like, get your dog the hell out of here, right?
So yeah, they can.
I like that it's a vest too.
They can't ask.
Stupid. Even though half of the service animal vests are BS too.
So they can ask certain things. They can't ask what the disability is. You can't chase it down that much. You can ask if the dog's due to disability or not, but you can't ask them what the disability is for.
Yeah. No, I know that. And in one state,
I think you can also ask them what the dog's trained to do. So if it's a seeing eye dog, or if it's a dog that treats somebody that has a ASD issue, then
I know that. I'm just saying, like, if the restaurant could definitely kick this guy out.
Absolutely,
be like,
especially in food setting. It's especially not usually some place you want.
Well, it wasn't going to happen though, because I think he was like friends of like the restaurant.
But even
which is why, if he's friends with the restaurant and you bring it up afterwards, do you think you win that battle?
I don't know. I mean, is it more important to have repeat customers, or more important to pander to your friends?
I don't know. That's why I was asking how often you're there.
that restaurant, for if I know any business owner, they don't give it, like some douchebag friend of theirs that brings their dog and hurting their business, then I'm sure that owner would be like, don't do this, you idiot.
Unless they have a relationship where the person has something up on them.
Oh my God, that is you spiraled out of control, and we were out of time. We got to get out of here.
We'll leave the cliffhanger there.
OneFirmForLife.com for legal needs. Like, what do you got? What? Give me something, Steve.
Divorce, estate planning.
Is that still the biggest? Even this time of year? When is divorce season?
Usually the beginning of the year through
February?
January through May, typically.
February
because a lot of people rely on tax refunds. Especially middle-income people rely on tax refunds to get a new start because they got to get a new house. They got to set up another household a lot of times and have other expenses associated. A lot of estate planning.
What a pain in the ass.
I know, right?
That's why your divorce fantasies are so dark. Some people, their divorce fantasies are, they're very bright and optimistic. Yours are always very dark, and that's good because you'll stay married.
No, I just enjoy going dark. Funnier to me, but
you've been a little bit dark today.
Yeah.
Why don't you go dark?
You never go. Okay, so we'll see you guys.
Bye.